Tango.
We stay in Europe, but we turn west, where protests are underway in central London, organised by controversial far-right figure Tommy Robinson under the title Unite the Kingdom. The demonstration seeks to mobilise supporters around a platform that combines strong anti-immigration rhetoric with claims of threats to free speech. The rally has invoked the recent killing of American conservative activist Charlie Kirk, using his death as a symbolic call to action. In a video message, Robinson urged followers to march for freedom for their children and for Charlie Kirk. A similar march took place in July of 2024, attracting thousands of participants. Today's demonstration includes a march across Westminster Bridge, followed by a rally near Downing Street. Far-right figures from across Europe and North America are also taking part. Among the expected speakers are French politician Eric Zemmour, Germany's AfD MP Peter Breiston, British commentator Katie Hopkins, and Canadian psychologist Jordan Peterson. We're now joined by David K. Johnson. He is an American author and professor of criminal justice, journalism, law and political science at Rochester Institute of Technology. Thank you very much, David, for joining us here and speaking on this topic. What does this tell us about the transatlantic spread of this far-right movement? And as we're seeing from these visuals, there are thousands and thousands of people marching in protest for this. And a high-profile but highly controversial figure like Tommy Robinson has organised this. What does it say about British society and the rise of the far right across the pond?
Well, not just across the pond. I mean, we're seeing in the US, in the UK, and some other places, Germany, an effort to stir up racial or religious hatred, distrust, taking singular examples of some kind of crime and then applying them to an entire class or group of people, because it's easy to do this. And basically we're undoing a great deal of what appeared to be progress on, as we call them in the United States, civil rights, which grow out of property rights, and in Europe and the UK, we call them human rights that grow out of the post-Nazi theory of human dignity. And we're going to see more of this. And we're also people are in many ways being very misled. Charlie Kirk, for example, often described in the news as a conservative. He was not. He was a promoter of hatred, misogyny, racism. He said people should be stoned to death, for example, simply for being who they are. Promoted all sorts of horrible rhetoric. He wasn't killed, as Donald Trump has tried to get people to believe, by some, as Trump would say, radical left lunatic. He was killed by someone from the far right. There's a schism going on in the far right between two of the biggest and most significant groups promoting racial, religious, and gendered hatred in the United States. And so a lot of this depends on stoking fears of people who do not have sophisticated ideas about things and can easily be manipulated. There's a reason Donald Trump at every rally says, "We love the poorly educated," because he can lie to them and get away with it. He can't do that with the educated classes.
Yes, and David, can you tell us a bit more about the far-right movement currently going on in Europe? Of course, this is in London, but speakers are from the European continent. We've also seen far-right governments pop up for the likes of Austria and some would say Italy and, of course, Hungary. What are your thoughts about the rise of the far-right in the European continent?
Well, I think we're seeing it's somewhat of a mixed bag. I mean, Marine Le Pen, the far-right French political leader, did not do well in the last elections. Now the French government is falling apart. So this is not a story of black and white. It's a much more subtle and complicated story. The number of people who are refugees, we have the highest level of refugees in world history right now as a share of the population, who have come into Europe and into the United States The economic refugees, the people who get on overloaded boats and if they don't sink, come across the Mediterranean, the numbers of those people have set off alarms with people who don't embrace the idea of a multicultural, multiracial, multi-religious world. And I think that's what we're seeing. And I think we're also seeing sort of the end of the post-World War II order. Donald Trump has contributed mightily to this by going after allies and annoying them, much to the benefit of President Xi in China, who sees his country as the 21st century dominant force replacing the US. So by and large, the biggest part of this story is stoking old fears and the collapse of the post-World War II consensus.
Yes, David K. Johnson. Do stay with us as we have further topics to discuss. We now move over to the United States, where